Hello and welcome. My name is Jake Simonton, and for my final assignment I will be presenting the importance of social emotional learning in our schools today. This overview will show the impact of SEL in our public education system, as well as why we must continue to support our students through social emotional learning. Social emotional learning in public education today is critical as we look at the needs of our students that are headed into the 21st century. The acronym PIES, P-I-E-S, outlines the 4 domains that our students have, which include their physical needs, their intellectual needs, their emotional needs, and their social needs. Public education has done a great job focusing on the first 2 domains, intellectual and physical needs, or domains. 200 years ago, the education system started with a focus on the academic or intellectual needs of our students. And then within the last 20 years, with increased concerns over health ailments such as obesity and diabetes, our public education system responded with physical education classes such as health and wellness to address the physical domain. But the social and emotional domains have not been addressed. So in this presentation, to find the social emotional learning needs of our students and why it is critical for the success of our students in their future. The stakeholders that would be impacted by social emotional learning are why we bring it into our schools today. First and foremost would include building leadership, and that includes the school administration and teacher leaders. They must understand the initiative in order to properly implement it. Next, our primary stakeholders are the students who would be receiving these skills and benefiting from social emotional learning, and they must understand it. And finally, the parents of our students must have a clear explanation of why social emotional learning is necessary as a part of public education today. As you look at this diagram presented by CASEL, which is the Collaboration for Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning, a group that strongly supports SEL, social emotional learning, you'll see the 5 competencies in the outline that include self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making. Self-awareness includes the ability to recognize one's own emotions, thoughts, and values, and how they influence behavior. It's important one can accurately assess their own strengths and limitations in this area, as it builds a sense of confidence, as well as growth mindset. With self-management, this ability is to successfully regulate your own emotions and thoughts and behaviors in different situations, and how you can manage your own stress, control your impulses, as well as increase your motivation. Social awareness is the ability to think about how others are feeling, that empathy. This includes those from a diverse background or different culture. It helps one to understand their social and ethical norms and how they react in those situations. Relationship skills is, of course, that ability to build and maintain healthy, rewarding relationships with all groups, including those with a diverse background. It includes communication skills, such as how we listen, how we cooperate with others, and how we resist inappropriate social behavior. Finally, responsible decision-making is our ability to make constructive choices about our own personal behavior as well as our social interactions. It is based on our ethical beliefs, concerns for safety of ourselves and others, as well as social norms. So why would we consider SEL? What does it take to get SEL into our schools today? Husfield in 2018, through the research, showed that SEL empowers students with the ability that directly impacts not only their academic lives, but the success and happiness for them in the future as an adult. So it's important that we understand how and when to teach and assess SEL skills, as that's at the heart of successful implementation. In this slide, I'm outlining basic approaches to how we bring SEL into schools, with 2 specific ones, including the SAFE acronym and the 3 R's. The specific ways we can bring in SEL is through scale instruction, direct instruction. Another way that a teacher can bring it into their lessons, they can bring it into their instructional practices, It might include freestanding lessons. It might include teaching lessons, such as cooperative learning or project-based learning, and can also be integrated into academic curriculum, into the core curriculum, through classes such as language arts, math, social studies, or even health, are all very natural ways to bring it in. And finally, through the actual organizational culture, whether that's the school culture, or the classroom culture, classroom management, they're all very natural ways to bring in social emotional learning in this manner, specifically through a SAFE approach. SAFE, standing for Sequence, Active, Focus, and Explicit, teachers can build in lessons. Examples of what this might look like include children being taught through modeling and coaching to recognize how they feel or how someone else is feeling. There can be an exercise that they use conflict resolution skills and use dialogue to guide students through the steps that they can effectively take to solve the situation, or students may learn through sports games or other activities. The 3 R's stands for review, reflection, and recognition. The first R, with review, a teacher might ask questions like, what do my students know now that they didn't know before? Or what misconceptions the students have that I'm addressing? Through the second R, reflection, the questions might come like, how can I use certain SEL skills to improve their learning? Or, what do I need and want students to understand about their own SEL skills? And finally, through the third R, recognition, at this point, students have learned, and so they are reflecting and recognizing. So the questions might be, what student demonstrated an SEL skill today? Or how are students good models for each other? SEL is a smart investment as we examine the statistics outlined in red here. It's staggering on what mental health has impacted our students with today. With all chronic mental illness beginning by age 14, half of the students are diagnosed by age 14, and half of all lifetime illness or cases of anxiety disorder begin as early as age 8. We cannot ignore social emotional learning in schools today anymore. A staggering statistic that 1 in 12 high school students have attempted suicide. This is just proof that the investment of social emotional learning is smart. As you can see through the OECD study in 2017, for every dollar we invest, we see an $11 return. It starts as early as kindergarten, and it has lifetime benefits, starting with reading and vocabulary, and has positive results, as Brodo outlines, that there's improved academic performance for those students that have SEL skills. There are improved attitudes and behaviors and a deeper connection to school that reduces those negative issues such as anxiety and depression. The 2011 meta-analysis Castle reviewed showed that there was an 11 percentile gain for those students with SEL skills in academic achievement compared to students who did not have SEL programs at their schools. And the Brookings Institute in 2015 showed that the long-term success for all students with SEL in today's economy. So it is a great investment for our students and the future generations. SEL will not happen by itself, though. It takes strong leaders that have the principles of change under control to understand how to help their staff embrace and take on SEL in the school. So teacher leaders and building administrators must understand principles of change, such as concerns-based adoption model, the CBAM model. In that model, we would really have to start with a needs assessment and a survey of students, parents, and staff, so that leadership could understand what level staff is starting at. They might be at a 0, where there's no awareness of what SEL is, or staff may be at a level 6 and are already using it daily in their classrooms and refocusing and improving SEL. This needs assessment would review what the attitudes and beliefs are towards SEL by all 3 groups. It would help the leadership understand what staff training and other resources are necessary to move SEL forward. Strong leadership also understands there must be a collaboration, involvement of all staff or a representative staff to at least move something forward. So teams need to be comprised of administration and staff that support SEL and those that are having challenges or questioning it, and bring them together to start working on that implementation. Then, eventually, that team needs to be expanded to include all stakeholders, including the students and the parents. This team would need to work on the necessary components for successful implementation. Ambrose in 1987 did a great job outlining what the components are for complex change and implementation, as he outlined their needs for vision, skills, incentives, resources, and action plan. When any one of these is missing in that change process, negative results such as frustration or confusion or lack of success come about. So this team would need to go through all of these components. DiPaolo in 2017 had school principals weigh in and found SEL is a big importance for school principals, as they believe there's a positive impact on their school's climate, and that it improves relationships between students and teachers and decreases bullying, which we all know is a huge issue in schools today. When looking at the 2013 survey by Castle, it showed that 93% of teachers had a strong belief in social-emotional learning. So, with SEL and a successful implementation, what would it look like in schools? Well, in the chart outlined below by DeWitt, some of the changes in what the culture would look like before, where we might be controlling student behavior, all of a sudden students become responsible for their behavior. Where staff might be teaching content in the past, now they're teaching students how to learn, and before, when the student was not taking much responsibility with learning, and the teacher was, now the student helps and takes responsibility for their learning as well. A classroom where a teacher and students who understand and value SEL might have exercises such as the mirrors and windows, which is an analogy where a student reflects through mirrors and learns about their peers through windows. There might be a therapy dog in a classroom that values SEL because research shows when a dog is present, students relax and they take more risks with their reading. No matter what SEL looks like in your school, once it's fully implemented, students and staff will embrace the change, and they cannot imagine the school without SEL. The following two slides have the references I utilized to create this PowerPoint. I hope my presentation was helpful and showed the importance and value of social and emotional learning. Thank you.